Hello, 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 hello. Day three, not two, three of my 20 days challenge in May to go live. Hey, everybody. My name is Annette, but I go by Anna on the internet, and this page is Bodaciously You. If you're catching me on the replay, thank you for spending some time with me. I totally appreciate you. I rarely go live, which is why I gave myself this challenge to go live. 20 days, right? I do intend to go more, but 20 days was a doable number that I could totally fulfill. And for day three, this is a little bit harder than I anticipated, especially because today has been a really bad day. And I've got to put a smile and I got to be good. But it's all right because when you smile, you change the chemistry in your body and you start to feel better. And so I know that by the end of this live, I'm going to feel better. So it's all good. Today, on day three, I'm going to be talking about the power of the entrepreneur and the magic of your words. So, and I'm also going to be reading the introduction from a book called Word Spells, right? I think it's from Pao Chang. Pao Chang. Word Magic, excuse me. Word Magic. It's Pao Chang, right? Word Magic. And this is something that I think everybody should read. But if you're thinking about starting a business, if you're thinking about putting content out, if you're thinking about speaking and putting your face out there, if you think you're going to put your energy out there to the people, then you definitely should be reading this book. This is an excellent book. You can get it, as a PDF off of Scribed, right? And oh gosh, that's a fantastic resource for books, right? That you can pull down. And it's $10 a month. And so it's totally worth it, right? They even have audiobooks on it. But at this time, this amazing, crazy, chaotic, apocalyptic time that we are in, your voice needs to be heard. If you have a skill, if you have ideas flowing through you, if you have some kind of mojo that you want to share with the world, let me tell you something. Right now is the time, okay? The online education is going to grow so much within the next, we're in 2020, within the next 5 years, it's going to grow so much to I think it's going to be, I might have my numbers wrong, but an $8 billion industry, right? And so you want a part of that, right? You want to get in there. If you've got something to say, if you have something that you believe in and you want to talk to people about it, if you have this gift where you talk to people and somehow the advice, the things that you say to them actually come to fruition, they actually take that information, harness it, and go and do something with it, then yes, you should be thinking about doing something here on the internet, right? And then looking for a way to get off of the internet, to get these same people off of the internet, right? So that, God forbid it goes down, or God forbid you get censored, you've got a way to communicate with your community, right? So, this book makes you rethink about on how you use words, how you speak. Because one thing that I'm learning is that the way we've been taught to speak actually works against us, and we are constantly putting spells over ourselves that hurt us, right? That keep us going in a different direction, right? And the way this book explains it, it's just it's so obvious, right? And I've been learning about a lot of different things lately. And I realized that my voice actually needs to be more out there. I need to make more of an effort to put myself out there, because when I'm in the street, I usually start talking with people randomly, right, in the stores. If I see them buying something and I know that there's something better for them, right, I usually tell them, I suggest to them, right? If I go into groups or if I go into forums and someone is asking questions and I answer them, they literally have taken my information, what I give them for free, and they go on and they do it, and then they let me know. We keep in contact, and they come back and they let me know, listen, I tried this and I did this, and thank you. I once had a conversation with this woman. All she wanted to do was be a VA. She needed money. She wanted to work as a VA, right? And so I said, okay, great. Let's have a conversation, right? And so after talking to her, after about maybe an hour, I was like, you ain't no VA. You a business owner. You are a writer. You have experience under your belt that you need to parlay into a book, right? And so she did exactly that. And we spent, I think, about 2 or 3 hours on the phone. And she had pages of notes. And this lady went and took the information that I gave her and ended up being a writer, helping other people write their books, ended up going and buying a house and a new car, all because she had the audacity to ask questions, and I engaged with her and we had an exchange, right, of ideas, of information that she did not have before. So the power of your word is huge. The power of your influence is amazing when the right people are paying attention, right? But first, you have to understand that the power is in the tongue, right? And you need to know how to craft your words so that you can be powerful when you are extending that energy out to people, right? You want to be engaging, and you want, to some respect, some aspect, you want to be vivacious, right? You want to smile, right? Because you want to build trust. You want for people to know that they can talk to you, right? So smiling, your words, the tone of voice, the inflection and the way you speak, and do not be afraid to get animated, right? Incredibly, in real life, people are afraid of all the animation. People that aren't as open to change, right? They're afraid of the animation. It's like, oh my God, you're too much. And that's okay, because the right people are going to listen. They're going to follow. They're going to appreciate your openness, right? So I'm going to start reading this book, right? I'm going to be reading it off of my computer, okay? And the book is Word Magic by Pao Chang, Paochang, Pao Chang, right? Word Magic. Look it up, Google it, right? Find where you can get a copy to download, right, in PDF. So here we go. We're going to the table of contents, yada, yada. I had it ready, but this is live. Okay, so introduction. Words are used by people to communicate every day. Yet most people still do not realize how words shape their lives and perception. Did you know that most people speak over 7,000 words per day? As of May 2016, there are about 7.4 billion living on Earth. People living on Earth. If you multiply 7,000 words by 7.4 people, you get 51.8 trillion words. This means that at least 51.8 trillion words are spoken every day. Even though we hear and speak words all the time, most of us have little or no clue as to how powerful words are. Words are not just elements of speech or writing, because when words are spoken out loud, they transform into sound, frequency, and vibration. Words also carry information which, plays an important role for communication. Without information, we will have a hard time learning things and communicating to one another. Because words carry information, sound, and frequency, and vibration, they play a very important role in our lives. Furthermore, they can be used to harness the power of energy. As mankind, we did not always rely heavily on words to communicate because we used to have a stronger telepathic bond with one another. Due to certain tragic events in our past that caused the higher elements of our DNA to, in a sense, mutate and turn off, many words were introduced by the dark forces, groups of self-serving thought form entities as hypnotic symbols to manipulate our minds. You get that? You get that? See the power of words and how it can be manipulated? The source of the dark forces' malevolent behaviors is a cosmic virus. This virus is not your common virus because it is very intelligent. The main goal of the cosmic virus is to infect all living things in the universe with its psychopathic thoughts and death science ideology. Many people's minds are infected with the psychopathic thoughts of the cosmic virus, especially people who have strong psychopathic traits. Like any virus, the goal of the cosmic virus is to drain its host of energy until it dies, and therefore its mission is to cause death and destruction throughout the universe. The good news is that the virus can only infect us infect us when we live in a state of ignorance, fear, hatred, and irresponsibility. As we learn to live peacefully with one another and heal our bodies and activate the higher elements of our DNA, our frequency will increase beyond the limit of the cosmic virus, making us immune to it. Hey! Today, many scientists like to refer to the higher elements of our DNA as junk DNA because they believe these elements have no function. There is nothing junk about the higher elements of our DNA because nature would never create something that has no role to play in the progression of the universe. Our junk DNA contains the higher and more powerful elements of our DNA. Because of this, it holds some of the keys to unlocking memories of our true history and activating our dormant spiritual powers. Telepathy. The reason that our junk DNA does not seem to function is because the frequencies of our bodies are not vibrating in harmony with it, causing it to turn off. In our current physical condition, turning on all higher elements of our DNA at once would destroy our health. The current state of our bodies can handle the high frequency energies that travel through the higher elements of our DNA. Or they cannot handle the high frequency energies that travel through our higher elements of our DNA. To safely activate our junk DNA without damaging our bodies, we need to slowly increase the frequencies of our bodies to the point where they harmonize with the frequencies of our junk DNA. Once this happens, our junk DNA and bodies will communicate and function properly. Because the higher elements of our DNA are, in a sense, turned off, our spiritual powers and higher senses are weakened, making it easier for the dark forces to use words to deceive us. All the languages of mankind have been severely distorted by the dark forces, allowing them to use words as magic spells to manipulate us. However, they can only manipulate us when we do not know how to use words wisely. If you study the origin and history of words and languages and their connection to certain secret societies, you should eventually come to the conclusion that all languages are interconnected on a very deep level. Furthermore, you should know that the language system is the dark force's favorite tool to use to cast magic spells on mankind so they can control our bodies, minds, and souls. By the end of this book, you will know specifically what that means. So that's the introduction, right? And he goes on to explain and break certain words down, the most fundamental words that we use, right? This is so necessary for any entrepreneur right now that is going to be engaging with people to read. When you start understanding that we have been casting spells on ourselves and the people around us by the words that we use incorrectly, because literally words, the meanings are changed all the time to fit the narrative that is being sold at any given time, right? They shift the definitions, or they completely change them to match what they want them to match, what the dark forces want them to match. And make no mistake, there are dark forces at work right now. They come together all the time to plan a play-by-play book of what is going to happen in the next years. And this isn't something that's new. This is something for centuries. Why? Because we are the power. We are the battery. And they, those dark forces, the affluent, the elite, the 1% are the few, right? So when we start talking, when we start speaking with one another, as opposed to at or just to one another, when we start speaking in concert together and we start encouraging each other to build, to grow, to be our best self and to step into our power, we become really dangerous to the power struggle, the power that they have, right? Their house of cards starts to shake, right? That glass house starts to break just with pebbles being thrown at it, right? And so as an entrepreneur, your words hold so much weight of influence, whether you're doing things righteously or whether you're just going for that dollar and you got that gift of gab and you could sell snake oil, you could sell ice to an Eskimo, you could sell fat to a whale. If you got that kind of gift of gab, I hope that you use it to help people step into their power, to help them find the empowerment within themselves to step into their mojo, to step into their greatness, to do the damn thing, right? Now understand, not everybody's built for entrepreneurship, and that's okay, right? But at least encourage people to be their most authentic self and to be fearless, right? And to stand up. Teach them that they are not sureties. They are not corporate assets. They are not nothing. They are rich and have so much. They are the flesh. They are the blood, right? And with that flesh and blood, with that living matter comes power, right? And as an entrepreneur, as an influencer, as someone who will speak to the masses, you have been given a special responsibility. Number one, to be fearless. And even when you do fear, you still go for it. Listen, I feel like total shit. I feel like total crap. Today was a really bad day. It was a toxic day for me. It started out horribly. I did not want to do live. But I have a responsibility to myself because I gave myself a challenge, right? And I want to keep my word. But most importantly, I want to keep my word to whoever shows up here and wants to see a video from me, right? So what? Who cares, right? I understand the responsibility of my voice, my words, and my energy. And that's what I want to put out. That's what I want to extend out. And as anyone who is going into the business of being an entrepreneur, an influencer, a guru, right? You need to understand your power. You need to harness all of it, right? And if you're going to move righteously, if you're going to sound horns, if you're going to help people find the empowerment within themselves, their mojo, you have a super special responsibility, right? To understand the power of your words, which is why I read that introduction. And I hope whoever's watching this will like that so much that they will want to read the book so that then they can step into the power of their words, right? So applied knowledge is power. So when you take this information and you put it out there and you marry it with your energy, oh, forget about it. You can make shifts. You can move mountains. You can make changes. So many things, right? You can change the way you feel in that moment. And you can help someone else change the chemistry in their body, in their mind. You can help them see the world from a different perspective, all within the power of your words, right? Encourage people to move, to step into their greatness, their natural right? And work with the laws of nature, right? When you are working against nature as an entrepreneur, you are not doing the best, right? When you are encouraging the coming together of man and nature, you are now working with the earth. You are now working with the laws of nature. You are now working with the God in you and the divine spirit that has created everything, right? You are working with what is greater than you from even before you were born, right? So think about these things when you're crafting the words that you're going to speak, when you're crafting what it is that you want to put out into the world, right? Do you want to put out crap? Do you want to put out that my stomach is growling because I am hungry? Let me tell you, I am so hungry. Well, okay. Discourage the need for external saviors. When you're talking to your audience, when you are planning what you're going to say, encourage them to step into themselves. Encourage them that even if they don't have anybody in their corner, you are in their corner, right? Encourage them to step into the God power in them, right? Not to look for power and authority outside of them, right? Discourage that every which way that you can, right? Unless you have an agenda. If you have an agenda to keep people dependent on you, that's dogged, okay? But ultimately, you want your audience to be able to fly without you. I know there are a lot of influencers out here that will not give you the good information, or they just encourage you to stay with them because they need you to buy their programs, right? They're not teaching you to then spread your wings. They're teaching you so that then they're going to give you this much, and then you've got to buy the next much, and then you got to buy the next much in order to keep growing. When the reality is that for me, when you educate someone, it's so that then they can turn around and educate others, so that they can become free within themselves, right? Having you as a mentor is a completely different thing than keeping them completely dependent on something outside of themselves in order to be able to grow, right? Having a coach, a mentor is not the same thing, right? You need those things as you go along on your journey, right? But keeping someone paralyzed in fear and in lack of information for your own benefit, I hope if you're listening to me, you don't do that, okay? Because that's no bueno, all right? So, no judgment, pero a lot of judgment, okay? I gotta be real. And yo, let me tell you something. Menopause. I don't know if y'all see that I'm turning red. Menopause is real. Menopause is real. Look at me having to fan myself. Lord, look at me having to fan myself. Yes, I'm getting like heat running through my body. Oh my God, and I'm turning red. Hi, right? Discourage the need for external saviors. Encourage your customers and clients to step into themselves. You always want to do that, right? Your voice has the power to influence the one. And when you influence the one, they will have the power to influence another one. And then that one has power to influence another one. And before you know it, you created a whole tribe, right? Just by having one step into their power, into themselves, right? How? Through the power of your words, your energy, your vibration, right? Your sound. There is a very strategic plan for the majority to own nothing and be happy. You best to believe that there is a plan. You best to believe that they want to enslave the majority of the population on the planet, right? Which is what makes your job that much more important if you are seeking to build clientele, right? And have return customers. Your job is now to feed people power, words, vibration, frequency. It is your job now to feed them so that they become independent and nobody's slave. So that they can control everything but own nothing in the most powerful of ways. Because they want us to own nothing because they own it, right? They want to own it and they want us to rent, to buy, to be under their thumb. But what you should be doing is encouraging your customers, your clients to to control their own things, their own property, their own money, their own businesses, right? But not own it in themselves, right? And that's a completely different conversation, but it gives them the power. They are in the driver's seat, right? They control everything because it is theirs. It is theirs. It belongs to something that they built, right? As opposed to owning things that you have to rent from someone else or you have to ask permission from someone else. You want to encourage people to be their most powerful. You want them to understand that their energy moves the way they decide it should move, right? That's your power as an entrepreneur who is going to be dealing with customers, clients, right? That's your power. That's your energy teaching people to step into their energy. It's a cycle and it continues and it continues and it flows, right? And it's round and it goes around and it swirls, right? And it goes up and it goes down. It's not linear. It doesn't just go one way, right? Your energy feeds other people. Your words and the way you go about things helps them go to the left or go to the right, right? And yes, I'm still fanning myself. Why? Because menopause. That's why, because. And I don't want to be all red in the face, okay? So I'm just looking over my notes. Help them to apply the knowledge, right? So that then they can become powerful. Your experience, your education, your abilities to teach, to help others is what's going to help others, right? Everything that you've been through, all the lessons that life has taught you, all the silver linings, right? To the most painful experiences and the most toxic relationships or crazy business experiences that you've had are now food to build a business that builds somebody else, right? See, we are all connected. We are all connected. And so my experiences help me to speak to people at different levels, right? They help me to meet people where they are, right? Or at least I hope so, right? I hope so. I try to look at where people are, and I do try to mirror as much as I can, right? And I always try to encourage people because I know what it's like to be in an environment that is not encouraging, that is not promoting good energy, that the words that are spoken are so toxic that they break you and your spirit, right? I know what it's like to be in an environment with people that you love but are not good for you. I know what it's like to have people come and try to game you in your business, right? And believe it or not, when I was doing baking, I would talk to the clients because customer service is like number one. Customer service and the ability to speak to people are the things that you really should concentrate on, right? Especially customer service, especially in this day and age where we're moving with so much AI and so much, automation. Customer service is going to be so important. The human touch is going to be so important, right? So I when I had a baking business, I had this situation where a lawyer had called to redeem his coupon, right? And I had this big binder with all the customers that I had already spoken to. It was alphabetical. There were questions in there. There were lines in there so that I can fill the information up with all the conversations that I was having with the customers, right? So this lawyer, I would put birth dates in there. I would put the date that they ordered something, what they ordered, what did we talk about, right? And this lawyer called and he was trying to get his order. I said, I'm sorry, sir, but you redeemed that coupon already, but I'm happy to take your order. He was like, no, I didn't. No, I did. No, I did. I said, sure. Yes, you did. You called on this day. You told me about your son and I gave him all the details and yada, yada, blah, 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 right? And that experience, which was at first negative, turned into something amazing. He had told me, I'm a litigator, and that's a practice you always want to keep. Keep those kind of notes because I would have argued with you that I never redeemed my coupon. But how could you know those details unless we had already spoken, right? And so it's a practice that I have maintained. And I used that experience to help me build a business that when I speak to people, I take details of their life, right? So that when I speak to them, I can be somewhere in there. I can meet them somewhere. I can empathize with them, right? At some point. I'm sorry that I'm squinting so much, but I have this bright light right in front of me, my glasses and all of that, forget about it. And then I'm so hot because of, the menopause, forget about it. I just don't want to turn red, all right? And so forgive me if I'm squinting, like that. What's that comedian? That's the way he talks and eyes. Well, that's how I'm feeling right now, right? But I don't have that voice, thank God. But so I took those experiences from my past, and that's what I put into the way I speak and the way I go about dealing with customers now, right? With the t-shirts, with my Etsy and Amazon. I engage with people via the messages, right? And I do this within the 24 hours of them sending a message to me. And I try to talk to them in a way that either calms them down or makes them feel secure in dealing with me, right? And I also engage this way with people on the street when I'm talking to them about building a business, about buying a different product, and then I get excited and I get into this happy state, right? So that they can feel like, wow, wow, she's really happy. Meanwhile, right? But I use experiences from the past to help me in the present because I always want my words to be something that someone will remember as, wow, I learned something. She really helped me out. And it's not about me. It's not about me. It's not that I need to feel like a savior. It's that I just want to put good energy into the air, man. I leave my kids when I go. I leave my children, my daughters, right? And I really want to leave good juju behind so that that juju can be visited on my children as opposed to bad things. You know, I'm totally selfish about that. I want to put good vibes into the air because right now people really need that. But I really, really want my daughters to be okay when I'm no longer around, right? And what we do today plants the seeds for tomorrow. Remember that. What you do today plants the seeds for tomorrow. So plant seeds in the hearts, the minds, and the spirit of people. When you talk to them, help them, show them that they can be powerful. They don't need to ask for permission. That everything that they've been taught was meant to keep them small, right? Was meant to keep them from going outside the gate, the fence, to seek permission from outside of themselves before trusting themselves and the divine power and energy that has been put into them, right? I am not religious at all, but I do believe there's something higher than me. And I do believe that I have to trust that higher power that is outside of me, but is within me at the same time, right? And has given me everything in its image and everything within myself to trust myself to be the master of my destiny, right? So leave people with that. Leave people with wanting more from you in the best way because you are feeding something in them that they've never had before, right? So that's it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk today on day 3. Go to the link in my bio and hit me up on my SUPERPHONE, right? It's a text me, right? So you'll text me and I will be able to send you links of fantastic talks, fantastic motivation, right? Education, right? I will send you links to amazing podcasts, right? I will send you a video of myself. I'm not going to be spamming you, okay? Don't worry about it. I'm not going to be spamming you. Every now and again, I might tell you about something I got, but I'm not going to be spamming you because the purpose of that text me is to get you off of social media so that we can engage like real people, like we can engage like souls, right? That are talking to each other, that are communicating, right? And not that we have to worry about, well, if it goes down, I done lost the way to communicate with them, right? Or I lost the way to communicate with her, right? I want to take us off. I want to be familia off of social media because social media, I'm sorry to tell you, but it ain't where it's at, okay? This is not the place that I always want to be because I know there is a purpose that is happening with these medias. And they're harnessing our energy because we are batteries. They're taking our information. They are studying our behaviors, right? And then they are selling that and controlling us with it. So you have to get with the mindset of understanding how all that works. And believe it or not, when you are an entrepreneur and you are doing research in how to talk to people, how to craft your titles, how to make your copy for your listings, if you do e-commerce, right? You will start learning and understanding the behavior of the public. You will understand that there are many different behaviors. You will understand how to tune into their behaviors. You will understand what they like, what complements their preferences, and what moves them, what motivates them. Trust me, in becoming an entrepreneur who deals with the public, you're going to learn a lot. And if you are open-minded and are ready to step into your power, you're going to become dangerous. because you're going to be powerful, and you will know I don't got to ask nobody for permission because I'm my permission. My freedom is because I said so, not because they said so, right? So that's what I encourage everybody. That's what I hope I help to instill in whoever listens to me, right? Even if I encourage you to disobey, I did my job. I did my job. If I encouraged you to smile more, I did my job. If I encourage you to document your journey and write in your notebook, right, everything that's happening, and you'll be able to recall this information later on, I did my job. I did my job. So again, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I didn't want to make this super long. I appreciate you for coming on the replay. Thank you so much. And remember, this part is going to be edited. So remember to go to this number right here and text me, and let's get off social media, right? Let's be simpatico off of social media. Let's be friends. Let's be familia off of social media. Okay? All right. So I hope that wherever you are on the planet Earth, if you're watching me on the replay and you right now, that the sun is always shining on you and you have an amazing, amazing, amazing day. Take care. See you. And I hope this talk helped you out today. And don't forget, the book is Word Magic by Bao Cheng, right? Go pick it up. Google it, all right? And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me, okay? Take care. See you. Bye.